Excellent Artist. Last time I showed you how to create the sky for our winter silhouette. Today we're going to actually create the silhouette. So start thinking of some things that you see in wintertime that you can put in your silhouette, and let's get started. On which way you made your sky last time, if you painted it or if you colored it, is how you're going to create your silhouette. So I'm going to first show how to do the painted way, and if you made it with crayon, you might just want to fast forward through this section because I show at the end of the video how to make your silhouette if you're using crayons. So what I do if I've painted my sky is I like to use black paper to make my silhouette. And the first step to doing that is to create the ground. And what I like to do, I usually think of wintertime having snow on the ground. And I'm going to use a white crayon just because it shows up nicely on the black paper. And I'm going to draw a little curve to show where the snow is. Now, when you do this, you want to make sure your paper is as wide as your sky paper. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut on this line for my ground. Now, I don't like to see all of the lines where I drew with my crayon. I don't like to see that show up on mine. So when I glue today, I am going to glue on the side with the pencil mark or the crayon mark. I'm going to glue that onto the bottom part of my paper. I'm going to turn this over, and I always make sure the lightest part of my silhouette or my sky is at the bottom. That way it provides the greatest contrast and that way you'll see the black paper even better. So at this point, now you need to think of an object that you want to put in your winter silhouette. I've got a couple ideas. I could do trees, like evergreen trees. I could do maybe a little house with smoke coming out of the chimney, or maybe even a snowman. Whatever you decide to do, you need another piece of black paper, and you're going to draw this. Now, a silhouette, boys and girls, is simply things that are all in shadow, and the only thing you can see is the shape of it. You don't see any designs. So if I make a snowman, I'm going to make 3 circles, and I think I might try to put a hat on. You decide what you want to have. I'm going to skip the arms just because I think cutting the arms would be very, very difficult. So I'm just going to leave that part out. But you'll notice I don't draw the face on my snowman or the buttons because remember, we're only going to see the shape. So it needs to be recognizable just by the shape. So if I cut this out, I have to cut right on the lines that I drew. You can't just cut like this and just get close, because when we flip it over and put it on our paper, nobody's going to know that was a snowman. So you must cut it out right on those lines. If you can't recognize what it is when you turn it over, then you might need to start over making your object. Now you have to have at least one object for your silhouette that's outside. It doesn't have to be a snowman. Like I said, if you've got any other ideas, maybe you want to do an animal like a deer. If you know how to draw that and you think you'll be able to cut it out, then go ahead and give it a try. Remember, you glue on the side where your marks are. We don't want to see any crayon or pencil lines on our silhouette. So when we flip it over, you can decide where you want it to go. I think I'll set it right there. Make sure that it's touching the ground and not just floating, because snowmen do not float. If you would like to try a house, let me show you what you could do for the house. I've got some extra paper here. Maybe I'll have a little house standing next to them, although I think this might be a little big for my snowman might be a little big for the house. But if I were going to do a house, draw the square. It doesn't have to be super hard. Triangle roof. maybe a chimney. And maybe I would like to try having some windows. You're saying to me, oh wait, Miss Porter, we can't show anything on the inside because it's in silhouette. Well, I've got an idea. Windows are open. And what would happen if you could see through the windows all the way to the other side? You might be able to see the sky color. So I'm going to cut this out. I might even just put this on a different picture because now how do I get to these parts? You're probably wondering. I don't want to just stick my scissors right in there. If I do that, I could take a chance and cut myself, and I want to be safe. So what I'm going to do is just fold my paper where those windows are. You don't even have to fold it all the way across. And just cut out a little bit in the middle of those windows. And then it makes a hole so that you can get your scissors inside to cut that out. Go slow if you're doing this. And do this on this side. Keep your fingers out of the way and just use little snips. Of course, if you were trying to do really small shapes, this would be extremely difficult. So you'll notice I made my windows kind of large. I think I'm just going to use this other piece of paper for a new picture, and I'll put my house on this one. Since I made several sky papers, why not? Glue that down. Remember, if it pops up, oops, I didn't get that in the corner. If it pops up, you need more glue, and mine's not sticking very well. Let me try that again. Sometimes the glue does not like to stick on the painted surface, so you might need to add a little extra glue. Uh-oh, I have glue right here, so this would be a good place to put my house, don't you think? Hide that little mistake. So it looks kind of nice. Remember, glue on this side. If your fingers get a little sticky, don't worry, it's just glue. Now, since I was going to put it right here. Since I had, it would be kind of neat if I made a little snowman right off to the side or a tree. Since I have some scraps left over from my house, oops, that didn't want to stick. Let me rub that a little more. I think it might be kind of fun to cut out, and I'm going to see if I can just do this without drawing it, some smoke. So now I have a little smoke coming out of my chimney. I kind of like that. They're trying to stay warm inside that house. It's winter time. Right now I can't tell that this is winter time, so I think I will put a snowman on this one. So it needs to be smaller than my house though, so I think I'll just use a little piece of paper. I make my snowman very simple. Maybe this time I'll have. So boys and girls, what you decide to do, remember the theme is winter, and our goal, if I don't like that hat, by the way, I can just cut it off later. Our goal should be to make sure people can tell it's winter time. See? Oh, I don't like that hat. It's hard to tell that's a snowman. I'm going to cut it off. Now, if you want to make arms, you could simply cut out some little pieces from your scraps and glue those on separate. I like that. My fingers are a bit sticky. So have fun with this, trying to think of things. By the way, you could even have maybe some birds or something flying in the sky. That's kind of up to you. Let me show you another one that I finished with a tree. I did a tree and a snowman here. So be creative. Remember though, since these are objects all in shadow, it cannot be something that gives off light, like a candle or a flashlight or a light bulb or even the sun. You can't do that because the sun, the only time it's in shadow would be if there's an eclipse, and then the picture would be completely black because it's so night. So remember, keep it simple. Do the ground first, and then do at least 2 objects in your picture so that we can tell that it is a winter picture. Now, if you were doing it with crayon last week, what you can do is really just use a black crayon. I'm going to draw right on here. The lightest part is at the bottom. I'm going to just draw the outlines of the things that I want. Maybe I will draw a tree. Maybe I can make a whole forest. Now, if you say, I don't know how to draw trees, Miss Porter, then draw something you know how to draw. And you don't have to draw your trees like me. You can do it differently also. Let's do a little snowman over here. Maybe I can draw the arms. So the nice thing about doing it with crayon is you can put a lot more detail in than if you're cutting it out. I think I might add another little small tree here. I kind of think I want to make the tree go all the way down to the ground, not see the trunk. Like that. Now, once you have your design drawn, you can go back, take your crayon, and the idea is to make this very, very dark. So take your crayon and push very firmly. Of course, you could do the same thing. Oh, there's a piece of paper on the back. You could do the same thing with a marker, but if you use crayon, the marker might not work very well. So color the whole thing. I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. So now that I have my picture all colored here with the black, I tried to make it as dark as I could. Sometimes when you're coloring this hard, you have to take a few breaks just to get your hands to relax. Now that you have your picture completed, I want you to take a picture of it, put it on Artsonia, if you are able to do that. But for sure, if you're at home, please take a picture and load it to Seesaw so that I can make comments and see what you've been making. I look forward to seeing your artwork. Stay creative, artists. I'll see you next time. Bye.